TV shows have given us unforgettable characters and heartbreaking deaths. Today, we're counting 22 of the most shocking character deaths that left fans speechless. Spoiler alert, you've been warned. Let's get started. First, Joffrey Baratheon from Game of Thrones. Joffrey wasn't just a villain, he was the villain we loved to hate. For seasons, we watched him grow crueler and crueler. So, when he was poisoned at his own wedding, the infamous Purple Wedding, fans were stunned. We thought villains like him would last till the very end. But thanks to Lady Olenna and Littlefinger, Westeros got a little less cruel that day. Still, watching his gasping, choking end was uncomfortable, even for his biggest haters. Next up, Logan Roy from Succession. Logan was the king of manipulation, the CEO who thrived on chaos. And yet, his death didn't come with a grand confrontation or big monologue. It happened quietly off-screen, on a private jet. One moment he was there, dominating every room, and the next the Roy children were grappling with his absence in real time. It was messy, raw, and so painfully realistic. Gus Fring in Breaking Bad gave us a death scene that became iconic. The explosion at the nursing home, the slow reveal. Gus walking out straightening his tie, with half his face blown off. It was a perfect symbol of Gus, composed even in death. Walter White's meticulous planning finally paid off, but it came with a chilling reminder. In the world of Breaking Bad, nobody leaves cleanly. Then there's Lane Pryce from Mad Men. Lane represented dignity, a quiet ambition. But trapped in financial scandal and crushed by the shame, he chose to end his life in the office he once loved. His death wasn't loud or dramatic. It was devastating in its simplicity. A brutal look at how corporate pressure can quietly destroy lives. Moving to The Good Wife. Will Gardner's death felt like a gut punch. One moment he was in court, arguing passionately, and the next, a client shot him in the middle of a trial. There were no drawn-out goodbyes, no building tension, just sudden, heartbreaking silence. Fans, and even the actors, were blindsided. Charlie Harper from 2.5 Men brought a different kind of shock. Off-screen drama between Charlie Sheen and the show's producers led to Charlie's character being killed off in absurd fashion, supposedly hit by a subway train in Paris. The death was less about story and more about ending an era. Still, for fans who loved the carefree jingle writer, it stung. Now brace yourself. Glenn Rhee from The Walking Dead. From pizza delivery boy to one of the heartbeats of the group, Glenn's journey was one of growth and loyalty, which made his brutal death at Negan's hands even harder to bear. It was graphic, faithful to the comics, and emotionally devastating. Glenn's last words, "Maggie, I'll find you," shattered millions of fans. The Sopranos gave us Adriana Laterva, a fan favorite and one of the most tragic figures. Caught between loyalty to the mob and pressure from the FBI, Adriana's dream of escape was crushed. Lured into a car by Silvio, driven into the woods, and executed. Her death marked a chilling point of no return for the show's morality. And who can ever forget Ned Stark's death? The honor-bound hero, the supposed lead of Game of Thrones. We all thought he'd be saved, that somehow something would intervene. But no, Ned's beheading set the tone. In Westeros, honor doesn't guarantee survival. A truly groundbreaking moment for television storytelling. On Lost, Charlie Pace delivered one of the most heroic deaths. Once a washed-up rock star battling addiction, Charlie's arc led him to redemption. Sacrificing himself to warn Desmond and the others about the dangers ahead, Charlie's final message, not Penny's boat, was heartbreaking and heroic at once. A beautiful end for a deeply flawed but lovable character. Desperate Housewives had its share of drama, but Edie Britt's death stood out. Trying to confront her husband's lies, Edie crashed her car into a power pole, dying in an electrical explosion. Behind the scenes, tensions between the actress and producers made headlines. But on screen, Edie's exit was nothing short of tragic. Then there was Derek Shepherd from Grey's Anatomy. Derek survived plane crashes, shootings, and emotional chaos. But a simple car crash, compounded by hospital negligence, took him away. Watching Meredith say goodbye was one of the hardest moments in the show's history. ER gave us a slow, agonizing farewell to Dr. Mark Green. A battle with brain cancer took the beloved doctor. Instead of a dramatic emergency room scene, Mark spent his final days surrounded by family on a Hawaiian beach. A tender, heartbreaking reminder that sometimes death comes quietly. From 30-something, Gary Shepard's sudden death stunned audiences. In a storyline that was originally filled with hope and survival, a single phone call turned everything upside down. A gut-wrenching, realistic portrayal of how life can change in an instant. Switching gears a bit, South Park's Kenny McCormick. He died 1,000 hilarious deaths, but when creators killed him off for real, it was surprisingly emotional. Fans realized just how much they cared about the little guy who could never catch a break. George O'Malley from Grey's Anatomy, the lovable, awkward intern. When George threw himself in front of a bus to save a stranger, he became unrecognizable from his injuries. The moment he traced 007 on Meredith's hand, fans realized the truth, and their hearts broke. The show Charmed lost Prue Halliwell, played by Shannon Doherty, under controversial circumstances. Prue's sudden death at the hands of a demon not only shocked viewers but also forced the show into a major shift, bringing in a new sister. Behind the scenes, tensions reportedly played a major role. In the OC, Marissa Cooper's fate was sealed by her toxic relationship with Volchok. After a high-speed chase in a crash, Ryan carrying her from the wreckage became an iconic, heartbreaking scene. One of the most haunting scenes comes from Dexter, Rita Morgan's death. After thinking he'd defeated the Trinity Killer, Dexter returned home to find Rita murdered in the bathtub, their baby crying nearby. It was a chilling full circle, Dexter's past sins catching up to him, hurting the ones he loved. Going back to classic TV, Henry Blake. After finally earning a discharge, fans expected a happy ending. Instead, Radar walked into the operating room and announced Henry's plane had been shot down. The stunned silence that followed said everything. A bold choice that emphasized the true horrors of war. In Homeland, Nicholas Brody's story ended with a brutal public hanging in Tehran. A complex character who straddled the line between patriot and traitor, Brody's death left viewers divided and haunted. And finally, The Last of Us, Joel Miller. In the game, Joel's death was shocking, but Pedro Pascal's portrayal added even more layers of heartbreak. When Joel was brutally murdered by Abby, it wasn't just the end of a beloved character, it was the catalyst for Ellie's journey of rage, revenge, and eventually, forgiveness. Which TV character's death hit you the hardest? Tell me in the comments, I'd love to know. See you in the next video.